Pocket English Podcast
from your pocket.
Welcome back to Pocket English Podcast, where we turn stressful English moments into simple, confident conversations. Today, we are going to build a professional rescue kit for the most terrifying moment in any online meeting. You are on a video call, your manager is speaking, the audio suddenly scrambles into digital noise, and they ask, "So, what do you think?" Your stomach drops, your palms sweat, and you panic, wanting to just nod and say yes to a question you did not even hear.
I used to freeze in these exact moments, either blurting out a blunt, "What?" or pretending my internet completely died just to escape because I was too embarrassed to ask them to repeat it.
By the end of this episode, you will have 3 polite, professional phrases to handle missed information perfectly, plus a chance to practice them out loud with me in our hot seat simulator.
I am so glad we're talking about this today, because when you're learning English, especially in a professional setting like an office or a Zoom meeting, the pressure to understand every single word is huge. We put so much pressure on ourselves, and when someone speaks too fast, our brain just stops working.
Exactly. And when our brain stops working, we usually say the first thing that comes to mind. Often, that is just the word what. Or maybe we say, "Can you speak slower?" And while people understand what you mean, it can sound a bit too direct, or even a little rude in a formal business meeting.
Right, telling your boss to speak slower feels like you are giving them an order. So what is our first rescue phrase? What do we say when someone is just speaking at 100 miles an hour and we are completely lost?
This brings us to our first rescue tool in the rescue kit. Instead of telling them they're speaking too fast, you take the responsibility smoothly. You simply say, "I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that."
I didn't quite catch that. Wait, catch? Like catching a baseball? I'm a little confused by that word here. Why do we use catch in a meeting?
That's a brilliant question. In English, we use the word catch to mean hear or understand. If you throw a ball to me and I drop it, I didn't catch it. It's the same with words. If you throw a fast sentence at me and my brain drops it, I didn't catch it. It's a very natural, friendly idiom.
Ah, that makes perfect sense. It sounds so much softer than saying, "I do not understand." It implies that their idea was flying by and you just missed grabbing it. It's almost a compliment to how fast their brain is working.
Exactly. And adding the word quite makes it even softer. I didn't quite catch that. It means I heard some of it, but not all of it. Let's practice this together. Wherever you are listening right now, I want you to say this out loud with me. I will say it slowly, and you repeat it. Ready? I didn't quite catch that.
I didn't quite catch that. Notice how Emma's voice is very calm. She does not sound panicked.
Let's try it one more time. Focus on blending the words together. Native speakers often drop the T sound at the end of didn't, so it sounds more like didn't quite. Try it with me. I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. I love this phrase. It's an instant tension reliever. But what happens when the problem isn't their speaking speed? What if the problem is the actual technology? I had a meeting last week where my colleague's screen froze, her voice turned into robot noises, and I missed the entire project update.
The dreaded internet glitch. This is terrible because it's completely out of your control, but you still feel guilty for asking them to repeat themselves. When this happens, we want to blame the technology, not our English skills. So our second rescue phrase is, "You cut out for a second." Would you mind repeating that?
You cut out for a second. Okay, let me stop you there. Cut out, like cutting a piece of paper with scissors? What does that mean in an online meeting?
When we talk about audio, phone calls, or internet connections, the phrasal verb cut out means the sound stopped working momentarily. The signal dropped. If you say you cut out, it immediately tells the other person that there is a technical problem, not a language problem.
That's incredibly useful. It removes all the embarrassment. You're just informing them that the internet broke. And then you followed it with a really polite question. You said, "Would you mind repeating that?"
Yes, would you mind repeating is one of the most polite ways to ask for information again. Notice the grammar pattern there. After the phrase, would you mind, we always use an ing verb. Would you mind repeating, not would you mind to repeat.
I hear that mistake a lot. It's a tricky grammar rule, but if you memorize this exact phrase, you will always sound perfectly polite and grammatically correct. Let's do some pronunciation practice for this one. It's a bit longer, so let's break it into 2 parts.
Good idea. Repeat out loud after me. Here's the first part. You cut out for a second.
You cut out for a second.
And the second part, would you mind repeating that?
Would you mind repeating that?
Now, let us put it all together into one smooth, professional sentence. You cut out for a second. Would you mind repeating that?
You cut out for a second. Would you mind repeating that? I feel more confident just saying it. It is amazing how having the right vocabulary lowers your heart rate. But Emma, I have another scenario. What if the internet is fine and they are speaking at a normal speed and I understood 90% of what they said, but I just missed one tiny specific detail at the very end?
Oh, this is a dangerous situation because if you say, I didn't quite catch that, they might repeat their entire 5-minute presentation from the beginning. You do not want that. You only want the last sentence.
Exactly. If I just missed the deadline date, I do not want to hear the whole history of the project again. It wastes time and makes me look like I wasn't listening at all.
So, to handle this, we use our third rescue phrase. You want to show them that you were paying attention. So you say, could you go over that last part one more time?
Could you go over that last part? There's another phrasal verb in there, to go over something. Does that mean to physically walk above it?
Not in this context. In professional business English, to go over something means to review it or to explain it again. If a manager says, let's go over the numbers, they mean let's look at the numbers and discuss them. So when you say, could you go over that last part, you are asking them to review just the final section.
That makes you look incredibly proactive. It shows you digested all the main information and you are just asking for a specific clarification. It changes you from looking confused to looking highly detail-oriented.
Exactly. It's a subtle psychological shift. If you're finding these professional rescue phrases helpful so far, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We post new English podcast episodes regularly to help you navigate these exact kinds of tricky daily situations.
All right, let us practice the pronunciation of this third phrase. Listen to Emma and repeat after her. Notice how her tone goes up at the end of the sentence to show it is a polite question.
Could you go over that last part one more time?
Could you go over that last part? Perfect. So now we have our complete 3-part rescue kit. We have I didn't quite catch that for speed. We have you cut out for a second for internet glitches. And we have could you go over that last part for specific details.
Having the phrases is great, but knowing them is only half the battle. You have to be able to use them under pressure. When the moment happens in real life, your brain will try to panic. You need muscle memory to rely on. So it's time for our hot seat simulator.
I love this part. Here's how the simulator works. Emma is going to play the role of your manager in an online meeting. She's going to present you with 3 different difficult scenarios. After she speaks, there will be a brief silence. During that silence, you are in the hot seat. You must speak the correct rescue phrase out loud before I jump in and give you the answer.
This is active practice. Please do not just listen in your head. Actually move your mouth and speak the words. It trains your vocal cords and builds real confidence. Are you ready for scenario number 1? Here's your context. I'm your manager, and I'm extremely busy. I'm giving you a task, but I'm speaking incredibly fast. Your goal is to stop me politely using the first phrase we learned. Listen carefully. Okay, so the marketing report needs to be sent to the client by Thursday afternoon, but make sure you update the budget spreadsheet first before you attach the final PDF. So what do you think?
Speak out loud right now. How do you tell her you missed that? The best response here is, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Fantastic! If you said that, you successfully stopped my fast talking without sounding rude. Now, let's move to scenario number 2. We're in the middle of a Zoom call. My internet connection is terrible today. I'm going to ask you a question, but the audio is going to break. Your goal is to blame the technology and ask me to repeat it. Here we go. I reviewed your proposal, and I think we should definitely proceed with the bzz, glitch, garbled noise on Monday morning. Can you handle that?
You are in the hot seat. Speak your response now. Blame the internet. You should have said, you cut out for a second. Would you mind repeating that?
Excellent. You maintained your professionalism and solved the tech problem smoothly. All right, here is our final scenario. Scenario number 3. I am giving you instructions for a new project. I am speaking clearly, but at the very end of my long speech, I mumble a date, and you miss just that final detail. Your goal is to ask me to review just the end. Listen closely. We are going to launch the new website design in 3 phases. The homepage goes live first, then the product pages, and finally the blog. Everything needs to be perfectly optimized, and the final deadline for the entire project is mumbling noise. Quick, your turn. Ask her about that final detail. The perfect answer is, could you go over that last part one more time? Great job. If you participated out loud, you just rewired your brain. You replaced the panic of not understanding with the action of problem solving. You are no longer a victim of fast speakers or bad internet. You are a professional communicator who knows how to control the flow of a conversation.
It really is a superpower. You do not need to have perfect vocabulary or perfect grammar to be a great communicator. You just need to know how to navigate the misunderstandings gracefully. These 3 phrases are your safety net.
I want you to make a commitment right now. Have you ever pretended to understand a question in a meeting when you really didn't? Tell me your story in the comments, and then write your new favorite rescue phrase below. I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Writing it down helps lock it into your memory.
And don't let these phrases fade away by tomorrow. Save this video to a playlist right now and listen to the hot seat simulator section 5 minutes before your next English Zoom call, so the words are fresh on your tongue.
You've got this. Meetings are stressful, but you are completely prepared now. Keep practicing, stay confident, and we'll see you in the next episode of Pocket English Podcast.